everybody, Luna the Zen Witch here. Welcome to my channel and welcome allergy season. Ragweed is high and today I am in hell. I've been boxed up in my air conditioning all day and I had to rinse my sinuses out. Yes, I use like a hose bag and saline solution and I flush those suckers out because I cannot take antihistamines. I am a highly sensitive person, and that is like trademark HSP. It's not a diagnosis, it's a personality type, and I am very sensitive to everything. And if I take an antihistamine, even if it's a Zyrtec that's not supposed to make you sleepy, I'll be gone for 24 hours. So I suffer, I flush, and I share too much information with my viewers. So let's get on with it here. Let's look at what's on the menu today. It is, come on. Sorry for the jump cut, but I had to edit that out. Suddenly my anything. Anyway. Holy shit, you guys. I can't even talk. I'm going to tough this out, hopefully to your entertainment. All right, so let's see what I'm looking at tonight. And it is The Ancient Feminine Wisdom of Goddesses and Heroines by Steventon and Brian Clark, published by U.S. Game Systems. Let the goddesses bring you inspiration and guidance with their eternal feminine wisdom. Let me do something here. Anyway. This side, just the book binding. Just as the ancients sought answers in symbols and oracles, contemporary readers can find direction through the sacred art of divination. This beautifully illustrated deck provides insights and answers through powerful imagery with vivid narrative descriptions. Let the goddesses and mythic heroines guide you with their eternal feminine wisdom. Premier edition includes 78-card deck. Cards measure 2 3/4 inches by 4 3/4 inches, I swear to God. 64-page instruction booklet, 17 by 20 custom spreadsheet. U.S. Games, we don't have the copyright on the outside. So when we open it, there's a sleeve. And then we have a little box inside. And then we have this thing that I will try very hard not to catch on fire. I was saying something the other day about my altars at Mother Drum, that one of the requirements for my altars was that they be fraught with the potential for disaster. So here we go. We're fraught with the potential. Give me paper and a flame. Yeah, baby. All right. Ancient Feminine Wisdom of Goddesses and Heroines. So it gives you just like an astrological spread. Aries, Taurus, Gemini. Thank you for putting them in the right positions around the circle. And then it tells you what each of the categories is for. Begin spread here and continue counterclockwise. Aries, what is facing you or is out front in the current situation. So this is nice. It's handy. It's also a pain because how often are you going to drag that out and try to spread it out on a table with wrinkles and stuff in it? More of a learning tool than an actual mat to use is what I would say. So then we have the, we have the box within a box within a box. And on the back of the second box, about Kay Steventon. Kay Steventon has been producing her uniquely symbolic artwork for over 3 decades. Her paintings have been featured at exhibitions and galleries around the world, including Fiji, the United States, and her native Australia. Working out of Overbank End Studio in Eltham, Victoria, Kay is a commissioned portrait artist, specializing in astrological portraits. Ooh, astrological portraits. That would be interesting. Kay Steventon has combined her talents as a professional artist with her passion for tarot and astrology. She's the creator of the highly acclaimed Spiral Tarot deck and the Celestial Tarot deck, both published by U.S. Games. About Brian Clark. He is the co-founder of the Chiron Center, a multidisciplinary center in Melbourne, Australia, where he teaches applied astrology. He's the author of Celestial Tarot, obviously with Kay, and that's U.S. Games 2007, and The Sibling Constellation. He has written numerous articles on astrology and is a contributing author to Intimate Relationships. I don't know whether that's must be a periodical. In addition to writing a series of astrological publications for students, Brian offers a comprehensive correspondence course at astrosynthesis.com.au. He also teaches mythology, co-teaches a course on tarot, and leads tours to the sacred sites of ancient Greece through Odyssey. Well, quite stellar cred there for both of them. And then we have the box within the sleeve. Ancient Feminine Wisdom. We've got an image on the back. Thank God there's not another. Oh, more reading. These beautifully illustrated cards reveal the ancient insights of the goddesses through the sacred art of divination. Let the goddesses bring you inspiration and guidance with their eternal feminine wisdom. So mote it be. And I'm not lighting a charcoal tonight because I can't take the heat. I mean, I'm sitting here with my air conditioning blasting, and I'm just... Ugh. All right. And with all this boxing... I mean, the only reason I can see for the big sleeve is something to put this in. With all this boxing, there's just the little white book. And the copyright on this is also 2007. So, off we go. Look at the beautiful image on the back. A big flamin' sensor. I like that. Okay. So we start in alphabetical order with abundance. I love the image. Oh, look at the people splashing in the pool. I love the image of the gods in nature. Mnemosyne. Oh, these are not in alphabetical order. Okay, well, they're supposed to be. I can't believe I didn't put one of my decks in order. Mnemosyne. And she is memory. So, Gaia, abundance. I missed that on the top. This is the problem when I'm looking through my camera rather than at the cards. Mnemosyne is memory. Themis is justice. Metis is wisdom. Okay, so the artist is a portrait artist. And look how she captures expressions. There's life in those eyes. Let's look at Themis. And she's kind of looking off, you know. Mnemosyne, let's look at her face. She does look like she's remembering something. So I would expect that from a portrait artist, that you can see the expressions on the faces, and you know how much I like that. That's one of the reasons I really preferred Hanson Roberts over Rider-Waite, aside from the fact that it just worked better, but that I can see the looks on the faces. This is Nemesis, Retribution. That's a good card to have. Selene, Reflection. Oh, look how beautiful that is. In her chariot. She's one of the moon goddesses. You see her pulling, the horse is pulling her chariot across the sky. Eos is Dawn. Amphitrite, Depth of Feeling. Hestia, Hearth. Demeter, Letting Go. Hera, Social Rituals. Look at the peacock feathers. I mean, they're beautiful images. Not super detailed, but they're rich. I like that. Rich and attractive. Aphrodite, Desire. They went a little outside the Venus on the half shell interpretation, but look at her draped in the jewels. Gorgeous. Athena, Strategy. I like that. Usually you just hear wisdom for Athena, but strategy is something else. You know, that's a real critical wisdom. Artemis is nature. Eurynomy, creation, and you know, it makes sense that he does the Greek tours. These are all the Greek versions of these goddesses. Creation. Cibele, fertility. Does she have her drum? Yes, she does. There was a woman named Lane Redmond, Layne, Lane Redmond, who was an incredible frame drummer. She just passed away in the last several years. I don't remember how long ago it was. And she wrote a book called When the Drummers Were Women, which is a wonderful, wonderful book, because when I started going into drumming, there was still kind of this attitude that drumming is for men, and African drumming in particular. And she goes back into the history of frame drumming, the first drums, and where they came from. They came from women's work. When they were sifting the grain, they had these hoops, with a sieve, and they would throw it up in the air and the wind would blow away the chaff. And while you're doing that, you start to drum, and Cibele is a goddess of drummers. Hecate, crossroads. The triple goddess standing at the trivia. So three ways come together. Persephone, descent. There she is. Let's see. Persephone, so you know who that is. That's Hades. Circe, enchantment. Eris, strife. Strife and chaos. Nike, victory. Come on. I said, there. I don't like it when you can get close enough that you see kind of like the individual little pixels. No, not pixels in this form, but color dots. Hygeia, health. Iris, rainbow. In the Froude's Fairies, there's Iris of the Rainbows. Almost named my daughter Iris. Harmonia, of course, is harmony. Hebe, spiritual sustenance. I'm glad there's a keyword on here because I like keywords. That's all I'm going to say about that. Tyche. Is it Tyche, I think? Fortune. What's all these little babies? She's got tiny people. Tiny people, that's the wheel of fortune. And look at the cornucopia. Psyche, soul awakening. So I guess that would be Tyche. Ah, look at that. Ariadne, soulmate. Pandora. Oh, look at her unleashing the demons. Gift of hope. Medusa, the Gorgon transformation. Heck yeah. Helen, beauty. So here's one of the heroines that's not a goddess, Clytemnestra. Same with her. Outrage. Penelope, faithfulness. Calypso, lover. Obviously a great deck for people that know their Greek mythology. Echo, unrequited love. I mean, they really are beautiful images. Galatea, or Galatea, triangle. Triangle. Curious. I'm going to look her up. The Moire, fate. So there's the three of them. They are spinning the thread. They're measuring. Yes, it's measuring, spinning, and cutting, or spinning, measuring, and cutting. That's the way it goes. One spins, one measures, one cuts. What they're measuring out is the length of a life. And there was a discussion on another video about the difference between fate and destiny. Fate being the source of the word fatal, which means these are the things you can't avoid. We can't avoid death. So fate is what you can't avoid, as opposed to destiny, which is like the fulfillment of your purpose. So that definitely has the ring of fate there, because the length of the thread is the length of your life, and the Moire determine that, and there's no changing it. Medea, magic. I love those bare-armed priestesses. She reminds me of, in the Chronicles of Narnia, Jadis from Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and those fabulous pictures of her. Pythia, prophecy. The Pythoness. She's the one, you see where she's sitting? She sat above a fissure inside the inner temple where fumes came up that, took her someplace else. I don't know what those fumes were. I bet you they didn't smell very good. Cassandra, intuition. Oh, have I suffered from Cassandra syndrome over the last 4 years. You know what that is? Cassandra was a prophetess, and she was cursed that no one would ever believe her. So she would come out with things and say, here's what's going to happen, and nobody would believe her, and then she had to sit back and watch it happen. And yes, since about 2016, I have felt Cassandra syndrome up close and personal. Femi is fame. Carpo, summer fruits. And fall fruits are coming. The Maenads, revelry. They're the ones you want to go to a club with. Flora, renewal. With the little fawns galloping, in the fat little fawns lying about in the grass. Amalthea, nurturing. Amalthea, where do you know that name from? The last unicorn. Yep, Alcestis, devotion. Antigone, loyalty. So again, if you're well versed in the classics and the plays, Iphigenia, sacrifice. Hesperides, guardians. The Charities, grace. Charities are the three graces, actually. Oxo, increase. I've never heard of her. Penthesilea, Amazon, yes. And we're back to Gaia. So, beautiful deck, no doubt about it. Let's look up Gaia and see what she says. Or no, Galatea is one I wanted to look up. Oh, and you know what? They're not in alphabetical order. I'll be damned. They were in order. What do you know? I can't believe I went through and did that. Okay, so they are in groups of, and you know how much I like chunking down. The first goddesses, Olympian goddesses, chthonic goddesses, guardian goddesses, the heroine's journey, lovers and partners, the power of the heroine, virtues of the heroine, and then there's a section on reading the cards. So let's look for Galatea 40. So it is rather easy to look them up, even though they're not in alphabetical order. They're all listed on those first couple pages, which is handy. It'd be even handier if they had numbers on them. And I guess, I can see that since we do have a goddess name here and we've got a keyword down here, where are you going to put the number that's not going to really intrude on that image and that design? So I understand. I'm okay with it. You're off the hook. Okay, triangle. So I was curious about what triangle would mean. Is this like a relationship triangle or what? Sitting on a favorite rock, Galatea, I want to say Galatea, but I think it's Galatea, peacefully combs her beautiful hair, anticipating the return of her handsome lover, Acis. Lurking in the background is Polyphemus, the one-eyed Cyclops. Okay, let's find him. I thought I saw somebody back there. Is that him? Come on. Boy, he really is hiding. Come on. Do the thing. Okay, I see him. I see him there. I kind of see a hand. Okay. Onward. Who has fallen hopelessly in love with her. Though Galatea is revolted by him, the huge monster tries to attract her by singing and playing the panpipes. When Polyphemus finds Galatea lying naked in the arms of Acis, he flies into a jealous rage, crushing Acis to death with a rock. The myth reminds us of the devastating aftermath of feeling rejected and excluded in a triangle. Three-way conflicts occur in our relationships with family, friends, and colleagues. However, with love triangles, emotional feelings like jealousy, obsession, and rage become intensified. Okay, stop. Hold up. This is not a love triangle. She is repulsed by Polyphemus. It's not a love triangle. He's obsessed. He's a stalker. The aftermath of his obsession is not her problem. Well, it is her problem, but it's not her responsibility. So I would edit that because, yeah. This card cautions about the intensity of human emotions when someone feels excluded or unacknowledged. I am troubled about this. And then it says feminine wisdom. From birth, we are immersed in triangular relationships, and through conscious awareness and reflection, we can be aware of effective ways to handle this unstable arrangement. I don't like this at all. It's a little subtle, but it really sounds like putting this on Galatea, that she needed to be aware of what, you have no control over who's attracted to you. Zero control. She's repulsed by him. Surely he knows this. I mean, what does it say here? Though Galatea is revolted by him, he tries to attract her by singing and playing the panpipes. So he's trying to attract her, and she's going, what? And then he finds her with her true love, who is Acis. And he murders Acis. That's not what a love triangle is, folks. Okay, now that that's out of my system, let's go for a reading here. It's so interesting how we are evolving and our consciousness is evolving. And through the Me Too movement, we had another, tearing away of another layer, another veil of shame that kept so many things hidden. And when that veil got torn away, we lifted up our consciousness, and we thought more and identified how our language is sexist. And there's been a lot of consciousness raising lately, and this deck, I just want to say it seems to be, even though it's just 2007, there's that misogynistic thread in that one card, at least. Hopefully that's the only one, but we'll see. And then I have to remind myself that a man wrote the text for this deck on feminine wisdom. I got nothing else to say on that, except maybe this is why it's a bad idea. I had somebody watch one of my videos once. I can't remember which tarot deck it was, but it was very, he's like, this isn't a tarot deck, this is the women's deck, and how can a masculine man use this deck? And I said, well, maybe you practice seeing yourself included in she. You practice seeing the he included in she. Women have survived that for millennia. Haven't we, though? I remember in college, I wrote a paper, and I switched between he and she as the neutral. Did I switch, or I might have done it all she? And the professor told me that he found it distracting because it made him stop, you know, because he was so used to, and I questioned him about it, and he said, well, yes, when I read he, I include, you know, the feminine in that. And I said, well, then it shouldn't be stopping you. If you already visualize the feminine when you read he as a neutral, you know, inclusive pronoun, it shouldn't stop you in your tracks. He didn't have anything to say about that. Okay, well, as you can tell, these are easy and fun to shuffle because I'm shuffling the shit out of them. All right, tell me, Odek. Let me ask a question about I don't know. I want to, you know, about misogyny, but I don't want to ask a question about misogyny. Where do we stand now, women in general? Where do we stand as far as our as far as equality? Tell me what we need to know about feminine equality. I'm going to put that back there and keep going. Tell me what we need to know about equality. Okay. Oh, you know what? I'm going to pause for a moment and uncork my water if I have the candle, and ask for guides and guardians and ancestors to come in and give us some information. So we have Penthesilea, Penelope, and Artemis. All right. Penthesilea. It would really help if they were listed. I like this, but it would help if there were a list, like either an alphabet. I mean, they don't have numbers, so an alphabetical list as well with the page numbers. That would help. Penthesilea is one of the virtues of the heroine. 54. Way back there. Okay. Amazon. Where are we at with equality? And the Amazon comes out. Oh, hell yes. The legendary Amazons. And you know what? I'm going to wave it over my... I mean, it's not too late. It's never too late when you're doing magic. Okay. This is the Fire of Azrael here. The legendary Amazons were women warriors in an empowered matriarchal society. The Amazon embraces the qualities of strength, capability, earthy sensibility, and autonomy. One of the Amazon queens who embodied the autonomous spirit of the feminine was Penthesilea. On this card, she aligns her arrow in the direction of Troy. Penthesilea led the Amazons to Troy to battle against the Greeks, but was killed in combat. On a psychological level, Penthesilea is the feminine amalgam of strength and beauty, courage and tenderness, bravery and compassion. That sounds a little bit like the charge of the goddess. May there be beauty and strength, power and compassion, honor and humility, mirth and reverence, all of those kind of seeming opposites, but complements really. Strength and beauty, courage and tenderness, that's power and compassion. Bravery and compassion. Her card encourages you to be brave and forthright, aligning the arrows of desire in the direction you choose to go. The card implies a period of fighting for your rights and being a champion of the feminine in the world. I'm a mess, you guys. The card supports your energetic spirit and fortifies your resolve in confrontations. And the feminine wisdom is the goddess protects heroines who fiercely defend their rights and look after their dependents. In the feminine psyche, the archetype of the Amazon reinforces your freedom and autonomy. Okay, so that kind of like wipes away the Galatia one in that, yes, we have autonomy and we have freedom. And calling on the archetype of the Amazon taps into that innate empowerment. And I'm going to do a separate video on empowerment, but you know, the nature of empowerment is nobody else can give it to you. Real personal empowerment has to initiate with your realization that it lives in you to begin with. If you're waiting for somebody else to give it to you, you ain't never going to get it. Okay. All right, second card, Penelope. I have a feeling she's going to be in one of the back ones too. Penelope is in Lovers and Partners. She is faithfulness. So we have Amazon, faithfulness, and nature. With Odysseus away at war, Penelope struggles to raise their son, manage the household, and secure livelihood. Committed to these tasks, Penelope embodies the perpetual virtue of faithfulness. During her husband's absence, a traveler told Penelope of Odysseus's death. In her grief, she threw herself into the sea, but was saved by a flock of ducks. Before Penelope was reunited with her husband, she had a dream of 20 geese, reminding her of Odysseus's 20-year absence. Just as the dream signaled to Penelope that her husband would return home soon, this card predicts a homecoming. It indicates that your faithfulness and devotion will be rewarded through reclaiming your sense of belonging, stability, and routine. Okay, faithfulness to loved ones allows everyday tasks to have meaning and purpose. So faithfulness is about that bond of relationship, the people that you are bonded with. And to me, faithfulness isn't even a question, because when you're bonded with someone, there's no temptation to stray. When you're bonded with someone and you have an active, breathing relationship day to day, you talk to each other, you share your thoughts with each other, you share your emotions with each other, you negotiate and share the chores with each other. There's not a question of wandering and straying. But what this card is saying that is having that bond and being faithful with someone makes it easier to kind of serve in the way you need to serve them, particularly if there's like some hardships involved. Yes, it allows everyday tasks to have meaning and purpose. It's also a little housewifey. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. Artemis. She is one of the Olympian goddesses, the goddess of nature. And Artemis, the goddess of the wild, personifies the beauty of nature, whether that is the purity of the land, the stillness of the forests, or the tranquility of mountain lakes. You know, it just hit me here. I had completely put aside the question, and I'm looking at Amazon and faithfulness. That what did I say? Housewife here. Housewife versus freedom. It's not a versus. It's not a either or. And I'll go into that more in a minute here. All right. Whether that's the purity of the land, the stillness of the forests, or the tranquility of mountain lakes, Artemis is both the huntress and the wild animal. Her closest bond, besides her brother, is with the animal kingdom. Though Artemis is a fierce lion among women, she also oversees childbirth and offers protection to women in transition. That's nice to know. Artemis was especially protective of adolescents, encouraging adolescence, ENCE, the time of adolescence, not the individuals, encouraging young boys and girls to roam free and explore the delights of nature. This is what should be happening with kids that can't go back to school or shouldn't be going back to school. Get out there and explore nature. You're going to learn so much. Artemis serves as the midwife for your next stage of life. She encourages you to be in touch with your instinctual nature and your true feelings. The goddess also invites you into her domain to spend some time in nature or with animals. Artemis is the instinct to roam. This is the feminine wisdom. Artemis is the instinct to roam freely in nature and to express the untamed aspects of the self. She is inherent in every transitional stage, especially in the prepubescent years. Okay. So Artemis, be in touch with your true feelings and your instinctual nature. So we've got this faithfulness here, this woman that waited for 20 years for her husband to come home and just hung in there through it. Not a damn thing wrong with that, except that, was that agreed upon? But I think, we're talking about a woman at home doing chores, waiting for the return of a lover versus women who are free and independent. And to me, the relationships that are long lasting, the foundation of it is trust. So that if there are long absences, with that bond and that trust there's not going to be straying. And when there's independence within a relationship, when each person has their own life, their own friends, there are shared friends too, but you can't get everything from your partner. You can't get all your needs met from that person. That's a lot to ask from one person. You need friendships too. You need a place to go bitch about that partner. You need both and so having the independence, and with toxic relationships, a lot of the time, when someone is very insecure, they don't allow their partner to have friends because you're going to leave me. And when somebody is that needy and clingy, yikes. So that's what I'm seeing here, is having independence, women having their own independence, their own voice, their own life, their own career within a relationship. And I'm seeing this with a lot of my young women friends who are just in their 20s, and maybe early 30s by now, but they are finding, I've watched them go through toxic relationships and then find their other. And this is a person where it's just, they blossom. Both people have full reign in the relationship to be who they are, and that's when the long-lasting ones come. And Artemis says when you're also in touch with your true feelings and in touch with nature. So as far as where we are in the Me Too movement, or as far as where women are, we are claiming our power, our independence. We are still absolutely capable of being devoted to someone long term. Because a woman has a fulfilling life doesn't mean she's not going to want you anymore. There's this misogynistic, deep-seated fear that if I let her have friends and let her, do what she wants with her life, that she will not be interested in me anymore, or beyond that she'll turn into a lesbian, And I think men have this, across the board, the male of the species for the last thousands of years that got us into this mess. There's this deep-seated fear that we don't need them. And the thing is, it depends on how much they're in touch with who they are. Be your true full self, our lovely beloved men. Be who you are. Have a creative life. Free yourself from the patriarchy. I was talking to my sister the other day, and her husband has a ponytail, and I was taking the piss, and he's like, "Don't make fun of me." And I said, "You don't understand. I love long hair on men. I love men in skirts." He's like, "I'll never wear a skirt." He's a Scot. It's like, yeah, you will wear a kilt. That's why kilts are so sexy. They're skirts. I don't care what anybody says. So anyway, sorry for butchering that Scottish accent. So, the message here is that real, long-lasting, faithful, deeply spiritual relationships, I feel like I'm going to cry, depend on both people being fully who they are. So where are we with the Me Too movement? We're at the point where, okay, men, it's time for you to start telling your truth. And their truth is as bad as ours, folks. Because I can't tell you how many men I know that have come out and talked about how they were sexually abused by other men and by women. So it's time to come out with it, because there's healing to be done on all fronts. And if we want to get where we can go as human beings, if we really want to get to the heights, we need to take care of each other, and we need to witness. We need to be there to witness what the men have to say to us, and then to help them along with their healing, to take away the stigma of counseling, the stigma of being a victim. They are so entrenched in this. And talking about my my brother-in-law in his ponytail, I forgot to finish that thought. It's time that men get to choose what they want to wear. Colors, not suits and tie. I mean, a tie is a fucking noose, you guys. Don't do it. Say no. I mean, a man looks great in a sharp suit, but it doesn't have to be a suit. Thank God for you, Billy Porter, you know? So anyhow, I'm rambling now. I got on this deck put me on my soapbox. I would have to say that it adequately answered the question that I was asking. So yeah, it is good. You're going to have to root out the parts that smack of old school misogyny, you know. Don't take every word as gospel. Keep in mind that this was written from a man's perspective. Regardless of, goddesses, it doesn't matter how much you know about goddesses and Greek mythology and the archetypes and stuff. If you haven't lived as a female, if you don't identify as a female and haven't lived as one in this world, you don't got the whole story, because that Galatea was from the standpoint of a spurned man, of a man, oh, I'm attracted to her and she doesn't want me, so I'm going to kill her lover. No woman would have written that. Pretty much guarantee you. So let's put this deck back in its several boxes. And while I'm doing that, please remember to like and subscribe. I am trying to get to my first 1,000 followers. Thank you for helping me get there. And make sure that you hit the notifications so you know that a video's coming out every day. I mean, you don't need to hit the notifications, but it helps me in my analytics, so I hope you do that. And I hope you're here tomorrow for the next unboxing. I'm going straight through this list, and guess what? A new one arrived today, so it's the never-ending list. I hope you're not suffering from allergies. I hope you're having a fabulous day. And I hope you're healthy, wearing your mask. I hope you are supporting the Black Lives Matter movement. Please do. They need our help as well. All of our brothers and sisters of color need our help as privileged white people. So hang in there, everybody. I'll see you again tomorrow. This is Luna the Zen Witch. Blessed be.